Today's video is the first in a new series where I showcase some must-have gear for video editing, and we're starting with this, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Let's take a look. A few weeks ago, I put out a video where I listed the first 5 things that you should invest in as a video editor, and in that video I talked about how if you were going to be using headphones that are specifically made for editing, you should probably get a headphone amp or an audio interface in order to drive them. The biggest difference being that a headphone amp will allow you to drive headphones with a higher impedance, but that's about it, whereas an interface will allow you to drive higher impedance headphones and lets you do a few other things. Now, personally, I would pretty much always suggest an audio interface, and we'll go into why that is a little bit later in the video. Now, there are a lot of options out there when it comes to audio interfaces, and I did a whole bunch of research before deciding on the Scarlett series from Focusrite. After reading a whole bunch of reviews and comparing specs and features, I was pretty sure that the Scarlett 2i2 is going to give me my best bang for my buck, and after using it for the last month or so, I'm pretty sure that I made the right decision. That's right, I bought this thing with my own money. Focusrite has nothing to do with this video. They don't even know I exist. They're not sponsoring this. They didn't send me a free unit or anything. This is a 100% honest review. Also, if you want to check out the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 for yourself after watching this video, there is a link in the description. You should definitely check that out. And with that, I've done enough babbling. Let's take a look at this thing. The Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 is a small audio interface with 2 inputs and 2 outputs, hence the name 2i2. There's no external power required, which is nice. You just plug it into the USB port on your computer and it turns on. The 2 inputs on the front of the unit can accept either an XLR cable or a 1/4-inch TRS or TS cable, allowing you to plug in not only microphones, but also guitars, keyboards, basses, basically any kind of electric or electronic instrument you can think of directly into your computer. On top of that, both of the inputs have their own separate gain controls, which is super nice, and the unit can supply 48 volts of phantom power, so you can use your XLR microphones. It's nice. It's got everything that you need, really. Another thing I really like about the 2i2 is the direct monitoring switch, which will allow you to hear your input before it goes into your computer and into your DAW, allowing you to monitor your input with almost 0 latency. Now, since we are looking at this in the context of using it for video editing, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the inputs on this unit. If you want the full specs of the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, they're all listed in the description of this video. Go and check them out if you want. I'm more focused on usability, ease of use, you know, how well it sounds, really. Like, that's the important thing, right? Does this thing produce good audio? We're gonna find out. What really makes the Scarlett 2i2 good for video editing is on the output side. Those 2 outputs that are referenced in the name, that's talking about the 2 electronically balanced plus 10 dBu 1/4-inch jacks on the back that can accept both TRS and TS cables, and you can use those to route your signal to active monitors or monitors with their own power source, or you can route them through a stereo amplifier and then into passive monitors. There's also a 1/4-inch TRS headphone jack on the front of the unit, and both the headphone jack and the monitors have their own separate gain controls, which is really nice. It makes it super easy to go back and forth between monitoring on speakers and monitoring with headphones. And on top of that, like I said before, there's more than enough power to drive editing headphones, which typically have a higher impedance than regular consumer level headphones. The one thing that really impressed me about this Scarlett 2i2 was how clean this sound was. Now, like I said, all of the technical specs for this unit are in the description of this video. You can check them out, but they have a super almost inaudible level of self noise. So if I'm actually hearing noise in my recording, it's probably because I had a noisy recording and not because I'm getting self noise from the unit, which is great. It means I can actually trust what I'm hearing. Everything is clear. I can I can hear everything, which is absolutely amazing. Moving on, let's talk about ease of use. Now, for the most part, I found that the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 is basically set it and forget it, but the set it part is a little bit time consuming. You don't just plug it into your computer and be ready to go. There's some things that need to happen. There's drivers that need to be installed. There's software that needs to be installed. You got to register the device and doing all of that stuff. And normally with a lot of other things like this, it's fairly complicated, but actually Focusrite has this quick start tool that'll take you right to the website so you can register the product, and then it'll walk you through the entire process of setting this thing up, installing the drivers, installing the software, and you're good to go. So it's not like it takes a lot of thinking and figuring things out, it just takes a little bit of time. Also, depending on what DAW you're using, DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, basically your audio editing program or video editing program as the case may be. Focusrite will even help you set up the Scarlett 2i2 with your software. But like I said, once you get it set up, I mean, this thing's basically set it and forget it. The only time I've really had to touch this is if I am doing some input work, like, you know, doing my live stream or maybe recording a voiceover or something like that, which honestly, that's why I would suggest an audio interface over a headphone amp, is because if you're doing any kind of input work, this is basically all in one. But like, yeah, it's just set it and forget it. I've only had to like adjust volumes and do direct monitoring and turn on and off the phantom power, and that's really it. I haven't had to touch the software side of this at all. Now, if the specs and features of this thing aren't enough bang for your buck, there's actually a lot more that you get other than just this unit. This software, for one, that I talked about that you have to download, that's actually software that allows you to basically control all of this from your computer, which is really, really nice. Also, there's a bunch of audio plugins that you get that you can use in your DAW, and on top of that, there's even a free version of Pro Tools that's optimized for use with the Focusrite. So, I mean, that's a lot of stuff. Plus, when you buy this in a bundle, which I'm pretty sure is the only way to buy it new, you also get a fairly decent set of editing headphones and a pretty good condenser microphone. Now, if you don't like the microphone and you're looking for something else, my friend Mike from Tech Examine just put out a video about the AT2020, which is a really good and surprisingly budget-friendly condenser microphone. I'll go ahead and link that in the description. You should definitely check out that video. But all in all, I've been super impressed with the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I really do think that it should be on your list of must-have items for your editing rig, along with the 5 items listed in this video right here. All right, for more tools, tips, and tricks that'll help you become a better video editor, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.